Conservative new media viewers, JLin fans around the world, what's up? It's me, PFE Paul F. Villarreal, the NBA expert. We're here to discuss the Brooklyn Nets 121-111 victory over the Orlando Magic yesterday in Brooklyn, New York. Sorry I didn't get to do this video yesterday. After the game ended, I was just kind of out of it. So I just ended up sleeping. So we're getting this done. This is like 6 a.m. early in the morning on Sunday, April 2nd, 2017. And of course, we want to do this now because there's another game coming up for the Nets in about 12 hours. So we'll get it done right now. Look, the main thing here, and I know, let's just talk about this because JLin fans, Jeremy is in a shooting slump, and he's been in a shooting slump, particularly from the perimeter, for about the last 10 games. I'm looking at his game log, which is kind of his stats individually throughout the season, and this goes back to game number 65 against the New York Knicks. And in that game, Jeremy shot 3 of 14 from the field, including 1 of 6 from the three-point line. So he's been struggling with his shooting for about 10 games now, 10 or 11 games now. Now, during those last 11 games, he has had some good shooting nights overall. Like the next game, he shot 8 of 15 from the field, and he was 2 of 4 from three-point range. So he's had a couple of games that were good. But just from an overall perspective, he is really struggling from the field, and particularly from the three-point range. And it's brought his three-point percentage way down. At one point in this season, Jeremy had a 40% from three-point range average. Now his shooting from three-point range is 34%. So that's a dropage of 6 percentage points, which is pretty significant if you are an NBA player. And his overall shooting is 43%, which is just fine. There's nothing wrong with that. The main thing here is Jeremy shooting from long distance. That's primarily what we're talking about here. And I want to mention this first before I get to anything else, because I know it is what JLin fans are thinking about. And it's probably what a lot of Nets fans are thinking about. What's going on with him? Why is this happening? I can't tell you exactly why this is taking place, but I will say this. Jeremy changed his shooting form. The reason why he overhauled his shooting form starting, I think, 2 summers ago was because he felt like his legs would get worn out during the course of a season. And what would happen would be he would start at the beginning of the season, he'd be shooting great, including from three-point range. And then as the season wore on, it got worse and worse and worse. And his legs would just be tired, and that would affect his shot. If anybody who plays basketball knows, if your legs are fatigued, you will miss shots, and usually you will miss them short. And that has been happening to Jeremy somewhat. So I guess it's possible that his legs are kind of tired. I don't know why. He hasn't played a tremendous amount of games this year, but maybe it's just something that he's susceptible to or something. And that would be my guess. If I had to pick a reason why I think this is happening to Jeremy, my guess would be it has something to do with his legs. And just maybe it's, remember, he turned his ankle about, a week or 10 days ago. Maybe that's affecting him. When you play point guard and you bring the ball up the court, your legs get worn down more than most players, more than any other player, because that takes a toll on you. You have to really work hard on that. Another thing with Jeremy is his style of playing is really demanding. And what I mean by that is he drives to the basket so much, and a lot of what he does in his drives is, he stops, he pivots, he fakes. It takes more energy to play the way that he plays. Maybe that's having an effect on him. I'm not sure. Could be. Maybe now he's thinking about it a little bit and he's losing confidence. I know some people have suggested that. But what I see is it seems like a physical thing. And another matter that you see with point guards, particularly as they start to mature and age in the league, is you don't want to drive to the basket as much, because the more that you drive, the more of a pounding that you take. And we certainly know this with Jeremy. Getting hit with elbows and hit in the face and knocked down and all of that. And so you'll see with players like Chris Paul and other noted point guards, as their career continues, as they get into 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plus years in the league, they drive to the basket less. And it means they have to rely on their jump shot more. And I think that's a good strategy for Jeremy also, because his style is so physical. And just like the hamstring injuries that he suffered this year, particularly the first one, the first hamstring injury that he had, he was driving to the basket, and I think he stepped on somebody's foot. And those are the type of confrontations and collisions that you're going to get playing how Jeremy plays. And what this all comes back to is, where this is all kind of comes together, is Jeremy needs to find a way where he can shoot the ball from the perimeter without having to drive in a consistent manner that doesn't wear out his legs. And he's still working on that. Now, look, the form is much better than it was in the past. Remember, he was interrupted a lot of this season. Maybe he's kind of having a little bit of issues and slipping back into the old form right now. I don't know. But that's what Jeremy needs to figure out as he moves forward in his career. He needs to find easier ways to score. And most of that's going to come from hitting jump shots without having to drive and take a bunch of pounding in the paint from getting close to the basket. And right now he's having a tough time. And so it's and this is where we're at. The good thing with Jeremy is he's still playing well. He's still passing the ball well. He's still running the team great. I mean, except for his shooting in this game, he played terrific. He played really, really good. So he's still playing well. The key for him now is don't lose your confidence. Keep shooting the basketball. And then when you have a chance, like in the summer, work to refine not just your shooting, but whatever whatever you think the strategy is to be able to preserve your shooting form throughout a season and preserve your legs. If your legs and kind of tired legs is what you think is kind of affecting your shooting. And that's what he has to keep working on. And look, he's improved. He will continue to improve. We have no doubt that he'll continue to improve those skills as he goes forward. And as I said previously with Jeremy, you can't improve what you don't know. In other words, you don't know you have to improve until it actually comes up. Jeremy came into the season feeling fantastic about his shot, great about his shooting form, and now he's having a little bit of struggles. Okay, so now you need to kind of go back to the drawing board and figure it out a little bit. But you only know that when it happens. And that's where we're at right now. So we're not overly panic or read into it too much. It's just he's having a little bit of a tough stretch right now with his shot. And, I'm sure it'll come around, and it happens to other players all the time. And I don't think it's anything really surprising. Okay, so let's talk about the game itself here. This was a terrific win after the two close losses. The primary reason why the Nets won this game was because their bench crushed the bench of the Magic. I think the bench points, I had it written down. I'm not going to calculate it all again right now, but the bench points were approximately like 72 for the Nets to about 16 for the Magic. So the bench came through big tonight. They overwhelmed the Magic. And the starters were struggled a little bit tonight. Like all their plus minuses were negative, but all of the bench players' plus minuses were highly positive. And that was it. The bench was ready to play. It came out, and they just went right at it. Coach played 11 players tonight. And again, we've seen him go from back and forth between playing 10 and playing 11. I'm thinking that maybe why he played 11 tonight was because it was a back-to-back game. And that means when you play another guy, all of your players then play fewer minutes. So you have a little bit more rest heading into the back-to-back game. Also, he might have played 11 guys because now Sean Kilpatrick's back from injury. And he also wants to see, does Coach Atkinson, how Archie Goodwin looks. And remember, Archie Goodwin is the latest and newest acquisition, and they want to check him out before the end of the season to kind of get a sense if they want to keep him around. So that's the overview of what happened in the game. Let's talk about some statistics specifically. First, let's go over the bench. Sean Kilpatrick, 15 points. Archie Goodwin, 8 points, 2 assists. Look, Archie Goodwin looks really good. He's very athletic. I mean, he had a huge dunk in this game that I didn't even know he was capable of doing because he's not the tallest guy in the world. It was like a big two-handed dunk from the baseline. That's nice to see. Spencer Dinwiddie, 7 points. Isaiah Whitehead, 6 points, 5 assists. Justin Hamilton, 13 points, 5 rebounds. Justin Hamilton looked fantastic in this game. I mean, he was just on fire in this game. He was playing with a tremendous amount of force. Trevor Booker, 23 points, 8 rebounds. That is a season high in points for Trevor Booker. As I've talked about before, Justin Hamilton and Archie Goodwin are like the 13th and 14th guys on the roster. When the 13th and 14th guys on your roster can come in and play this well, then you got something going. You've got some very serious depth, and that's going to help you win games as it did tonight. Let's move to the starters. Karis LeVert, 9 points, 3 rebounds. Randy Foye, no points and 2 rebounds. Randy only played 11 minutes. I think that's where they've kind of put in Archie Goodwin and Sean Kilpatrick into Randy's spot. Rondae Hollis-Jefferson, 2 points, 6 rebounds. Brooke Lopez had a huge game, 30 points, 7 rebounds. Jeremy Lin, 8 points, 4 rebounds, 8 assists. Jeremy played 28 minutes, shot 3 of 14 from the field. So, again, he's struggling with his shooting, including 2 of 6 from three-point range, which really isn't that bad. That's 33%. That's not some mega slump or anything. No free throw attempts, 2 steals, 1 blocked shot, 2 turnovers, 4 personal fouls. Jeremy's plus-minus was a -10. So, as I said, Jeremy controlled this game. He had 8 assists and only 2 turnovers, so 4-to-1 ratio there. He played terrific. Jeremy also had, I want to say, and I'll look at the exact statistics, he had a 12 would-be assists. So, in other words, 12 other things that could have been assists. So, I mean, he easily could have had 14, 15 assists in this game. No problem. I thought he was in complete control with running the offense. Absolutely in control. And as I said, he did a great job except for shooting the ball. And some of the shots that he missed today were in and around the basket. Kind of like little just slight misses on layups or just a little bit off balance and so forth. And as I've mentioned previously, in addition to his jump shot and the jump shot form in the legs, because Jeremy isn't super explosive, he has less time to get off his shots. He's not hanging in the air for 10 seconds, so he can't think and plan and get perfect spin on his layups. He has to shoot his layups faster than that. And tonight, that didn't happen great. Like, he missed some shots, including 1 or 2 shots that he seemed in pretty good position to hit. And that's something he has to keep working on. That's that's a limitation that he has to play with, that some other players, again, that are super jumpers don't have to play with. And that's fine. Like I said, he has to keep working at that and become creative and crafty and being able to get those shots as he can, where he can. I will also say that Elfrid Payton, who was the starting point guard for the Magic, played a really good game. He had a really nice game. He had like 20 points and 11 assists, and he did a very good job guarding Jeremy. So credit to Elfrid Payton. He's a pretty good-sized guy, and I thought that he made things a lot tougher for Jeremy also. Like, he was not going for Jeremy's fakes. So when Jeremy usually does the spins and the pivots and everything, Elfrid Payton was right on him the whole time. And that made things a lot more difficult for Jeremy, particularly around the paint. And so that affected things as well. So that's pretty much it. That's the overview of the game. Jeremy's in a little bit of a shooting slump. The bench came through huge. This was a great win. Get back to the winning ways. Get to 17 victories on the season. There's still a chance to get to 20 wins. And Jeremy played an excellent game, except for his shooting. So let's move on. Let's head on to the next game, and I'll talk about that in a second. Right now, go through the notes that I made for the game, and then we will talk about the upcoming game that'll take place in about 12 hours from now. Okay, in the first quarter, I made the note that says, gotta be able to score more. And that's, of course, I was saying this about Jeremy because, again, this is where I think he's pressing a little bit. He's aware that he's in a bit of a shooting and scoring slump. And so sometimes it's not that he's forcing. It's just he needs to have more kind of go-to moves that he feels comfortable with that result in a score a little bit easier for him. Because right now, again, the effort level is very high for him just to be able to put the ball in the basket. And so hopefully he can kind of figure out some ways to make it a little bit easier on himself and take a little bit less energy. Now, in the first quarter itself, Jeremy had 5 assists, and he also had 5 would-be assists. So just within that first 8 minutes of the game, Jeremy was in complete command. I mean, he was just running the offense and running it incredibly well, getting guys good looks, and obviously racking up 5 assists on the board itself to go along with the would-be assists. So I thought he was playing great. I thought he was playing fantastic, even though in the first quarter he only shot 1 of 5 from the field. So you can still dominate a game and control a game, even if you're not shooting that well or scoring that much. And if you're not shooting well, don't worry about it. Just pass the ball. And that's what Jeremy did in this game. Moving on to the second quarter, I have the note that says Hamilton and Goodwin playing really well. They're playing great. Look, both of those guys are playing to stay on the roster because right now they are pretty much third stringers because Quincy Acee is basically the backup center right now. So, and Archie Goodwin is a guy that the Nets brought in to take a look at him to figure out if they want to keep him. So it's good to see both these guys are motivated and they're playing really, really well. Then I say Jeremy missed a layup where he kind of, in this play, he did hang in the air. Like it was one of those things where he went up for the layup and then he waited for the defender to kind of come down off of his jump, and Jeremy shot the ball when he was coming down off his jump. Like he was almost touching the ground with like an up and down violation when he shot the ball. But he was still not able to complete the play. And as I said, if Jeremy's Superman, super jumper, then that's a lot easier. But not everybody is Michael Jordan or LeBron James in terms of jumping. So if you're not that, then you just have to adjust to it. And that's what Jeremy's doing, and that's what he'll continue to do in the future. Then I said Jeremy missed a shot from the left baseline. It was about maybe a 10-foot jump shot. Something else that I think is happening with Jeremy right now is because he doesn't have the quickest release. Like, he doesn't jump up super high when he shoots, and he doesn't shoot super fast. And so because of those two things, Jeremy is sometimes liable to get his jump shot blocked. I mean, I know this has happened, like particularly like when they play a team that's really athletic, like the Milwaukee Bucks. You'll see every now and then Jeremy will get his jump shot blocked. I think that's affecting him also. In other words, he's looking around to see if anybody's close to him, and he's worrying about getting his jump shot blocked. Well, obviously that can affect you and ruin your concentration. So it's kind of like, everything's happening in a difficult way for Jeremy right now. It'll break, though. It'll clear, and he will continue to work to find his spots. But right now it's just a tough time. Okay. Also made a note in that second quarter saying Jeremy has to be careful. He runs the offense great. He does a terrific job running the offense, but sometimes he has to be careful with his passes. Not because they're going to be turnovers, but more so you want to put your teammates in the best position when they get the ball. And I think every now and then, sometimes Jeremy will kind of get himself into a tough spot or tough position, and then he's passing the ball to his teammates, and that isn't the best time for them to receive the ball. Now, I don't want to nitpick. I'm not trying to put Jeremy down here, but just as a point guard, you want to continue to improve upon that as much as you can. Usually Jeremy does a great job, puts people in fantastic positions, but I just noticed in the second quarter there's a couple passes that maybe that wasn't the best time to make the pass or the best spot to put your teammate in. So whatever. I mean, it's just something. You can nitpick anybody, no matter who it is. John Stockton, Chris Paul, Steve Nash. Again, because we watch Jeremy closely, I just pick up on these things. Okay, now we're moving into the third quarter. I noticed that Jeremy was guarding Evan Fournier rather than Elfrid Payton. So Jeremy had a couple fouls now. I don't know why they took him off Payton and put him on Fournier. And honestly, I don't remember who was guarding Elfrid Payton. Like, I don't know if it was, okay, let's put somebody who's a little bit longer and taller on Elfrid Payton to slow him down because he's having a good game, or let's protect Jeremy because he's got a couple of fouls and we don't want him to get more fouls. I really don't know. But I just picked up that Jeremy is right now not guarding Elfrid Payton, and instead he's guarding Fournier, who is the shooting guard. And Atkinson will do this every now and then. He'll switch Jeremy up, and he'll put somebody else on the point guard. Could be just to conserve Jeremy's energy. When you play the point guard, when you're guarding the point guard on defense, that can take a lot of energy. So I'm not sure. Maybe that's what it was. I'm not really sure. Then I made the note that Elfrid Payton is not going for Jeremy's fakes. And that's really slowing Jeremy down. Jeremy relies a lot on the fakes and the pump fakes and the spins and the pivots. So it really looked like Elfrid Payton had done his homework and his film study, and he knew what Jeremy likes to do, and he was working really hard to take it away from Jeremy. Okay. Then I put it, Jeremy and Brooke were playing longer now. So, like, they were playing longer stretches and they were playing at the same time. So what Coach seems to be doing is, we know as the Nets that they're going to build around Jeremy and Brooke Lopez. And what they're deemed to be doing is, let's see how everybody else fits around them. And then that's going to help them make their decisions going forward about who sticks around, who starts, who comes off the bench, and so forth. And so it seemed that Jeremy and Brooke were on the court the longest period of time. And then there were a lot of substitutions around those two to give guys more chances to play with them both at the same time and see how they fit with Jeremy and Brooke playing. Moving on to the fourth quarter, I said Lin could lose confidence with shooting slump. Of course he could, but that doesn't mean that he is or that he will. The good thing with Jeremy right now, and Jim Spanarkel, who former player and was a color commentator of this game, the analyst, along with Ian Eagle, who was a play-by-play, said is also keep shooting. If you're going through a slump, keep shooting. And that's what Jeremy's doing, and that's the best thing you can do. Don't start getting shy and getting scared to shoot. Keep shooting the ball. Jeremy's doing that, and that's good. That'll help him to kind of get through it. Okay? Then I made a note late in the game where I said, Jeremy, again, he rushed a left-handed shot. Like he was trying to quick shoot the ball. Quick shooting means you deliberately speed up your shot in order to catch the defender off guard. It's deception play. And again, that's usually used when maybe you're not as athletic. Like you can't out-jump the guy who's guarding you, so you're trying to catch him off balance. And that's what Jeremy was doing here. So look, he knows the tricks. He knows what he has to do. He's just, right now he's missing shots, but we move on. The good thing is that he still controlled the game really well, and Brooklyn won the game. And really, at the end of the day, that's what it's about. So this was one of the only games, I think this was the 5th game this season out of 31 played in which Jeremy has scored in single digits. Yes, that is correct. So his percentage of games played and games scored in double figures is still really, really high. I just think it's still 80-something percent. He was only 2 points away today, but the team won, and he controlled the game with his passing. So good. That's all for the game yesterday. Let's talk then about the game that's coming up later today. The Brooklyn Nets will host the Atlanta Hawks Sunday, April 2nd, today. The game will take place at 6 p.m. Eastern Time here in the United States. You can catch it on Yes Network if you're in and around the city of New York, or NBA League Pass if you are not in and around the city of New York or in and around the city of Atlanta. Atlanta is a good team. They're not a great team, but they're in the playoffs right now. If the season ended today, Atlanta is 39-37. Excuse me. Their offense is not good. They're in like the bottom 5 of the league, but their defense is very good. They're in the top 5 of the league in defense. So that's what you're facing today. Now, I don't know who is out for them. I did not get a chance to check on that. They have recently been suffering some really bad injury issues. So I'm going to have to see who is playing and who is not playing for them. And they are recently coinciding with those injury issues. They're having a tough time in the last 10 games. They're only 2-8 in the last 10 games. So the Nets look like they're catching the Hawks at the right time, and that's very good. Obviously, we know that Brooklyn beat the Hawks, I want to say maybe about 7 or 10 days ago, something like that, and that was a nice, like a 15-point victory, so hopefully they can repeat that today. And look, let's head and try to get to that 20-win mark or goal that we've been talking about. I think that Brooklyn still has a real chance to be able to do that. And let's go out today and try to get it done. And we know that the team had a pretty good March, and hopefully they can have a good April. Obviously, they started April off well yesterday with the victory, and let's go forward and try to get another one today. That is it for now. We will see you in, 15 hours from now after the Nets take on the Hawks again. Hopefully we can get another win, and hopefully Jeremy can kind of shake out of his shooting slump a little bit. We'll talk to you again later. I hope you are having a great night or great day wherever you are around the world when you watch this video. Once again, we'll see you in about 15 hours from now as the Brooklyn Nets host